Hello everybody and welcome to My Money My Way UK. This is a personal finance channel for anyone who is living on a low income and wants to learn how to manage their money, or even if you're living on a high income and you still want to learn how to budget and just manage the money that you've got, this is the right place to be. We're going to be talking about how to budget, what to and what not to do, especially if you're a family and you've got children. I can understand with the cost of living crisis now, things are getting more expensive. So it's about learning to maximize even the little that you have. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, hit the subscribe button and join the wave. The first thing I am going to share with you is something that actually was a bit of a great message for me. I actually found this in a book. Just says, keep going, change is around the corner. Now, I actually really relate with this, and I want to share it with anyone who is in the beginning of their financial journey or somewhere along their path in the financial journey. You have goals, you have dreams, you have things that you want to achieve, and you feel like nothing's working out and you seem to think that money is the hindrance. Then I want you to remember that actually things are going to change. Abundance is yours. All you have to do is believe and work hard in making that happen. And when I say work hard, start with a budget. So let's start off with our week. So as I mentioned before, I am someone who can't look at the whole month ahead. I tend to have a glimpse of what my month would look like in terms of monthly bills. But expenses, it's difficult to predict in 30 days what is going to happen. So I like to have a calendar on hand. I usually fill out my calendar in the monthly section, which I've already done and stuck onto my fridge. So I'm just going to jump into my week and see what's happening during the week. So today is December the 8th. So we're going to talk about what's happening on the 8th of December. Well, the week commencing the 11th of December. So the reason I do this is because I like to have a plan on what I should expect coming out, what I should expect to receive. I am also a maths tutor, so I tend to get money during the weeks. I tend to get it essentially every week because I teach every week. So I basically get paid every 9 days after I do the lesson. So with that being said, I try to plan ahead in terms of what's happening during the week. How much are we going to need food wise? How much are we going to need for transport, etc. So actually this week is going to be a big week for us because we have a birthday in the family. So on Monday the 11th of December, we've got my little boy's birthday. So we are going to be purchasing some cake, and I'm just going to set a budget of £40 for the cake. He is turning 3, so nothing too extravagant. We're also querying activities, but we'll see what the budget will allow us to do. At the end of the day, I tend not to invest a lot of money in toys and things that my children can throw away. I tend to invest more in experiences. So I like to plan those ahead because those are things that they remember. And those are things that they will carry with them essentially for life. And they do love spending time with their family. So I try to make sure that we have more memories as opposed to material possessions. So cake is £40. I also must say that he is a cake lover, so we can't do the birthday without cake. So definitely going to take that into consideration, things that he does love. Another thing that's happening in the week is, well, it's still a school week because students are still going to school. It's not they haven't broken up for the Christmas holidays. So I'm just going to put this down as a school week, which means we're going to have transport. Now, transport in our area is just a little over £5. So I'm just going to estimate transport as £6 a day, Monday to Friday, which brings us up to a total of £30. I'm just going to put that down on Monday and just say that transport, we need to budget £30. What's happening on Tuesday? So nothing much is happening on Tuesday. Again, it's just a school day, and the budget for that will come out of the transport money. Again, Wednesday, another school night, so not expecting anything fancy. My little girl, she's in need of some Christmas jumpers, so I am just going to put it down as a note of Christmas jumpers. But she has Christmas jumpers. She's got, I think it's about 3 Christmas jumpers, and she's got them from people. It's just we've noticed that they are getting a bit small. She's got, I'd say, about 2 jumpers that she's okay, like she fits into. So again, that's not a priority, but I'm going to put that down as a question mark for Christmas jumpers. On Thursday, so Thursdays is usually a bit of a more transport day because sometimes we like to go into the city. So I'm going to budget, well, another £6 for that. But that is variable. That doesn't have to happen. That will only happen if it can fit into the budget, and also if everyone else who is going to be participating in the activity in the city is going to be available. So I'm going to put Thursday as a potential transport day. Transport to city, and again, that's another question mark. And if that, I will allocate £6 to that because we live quite close to our transport links here. So not much transport to connect to where we're going. Friday, we haven't planned anything for next Friday. Saturday, now I am also going to say, so Sunday, we have a Christmas concert. We have a Christmas concert. It's just a local one in our community, so it's nothing that will require money. But another thing we like to do on Sundays is go out for a coffee. Now, as a family, that could just be Greg's, that could be Costa, but it's nothing too expensive. It is just to get everyone together. Sometimes we do plan meals out, but that's, again, nothing too much that we wouldn't be able to afford. But we don't plan on going anywhere, considering that we've got the birthday on Monday. If we do plan anything, it will probably just be around it being the birthday, so nothing family time. So we're going to say Sunday coffee, and that's just really to help us unwind for the week and begin a new week fresh. Now, there are also other things that I'm going to be taking a look at, which is my income for the week. So anything that is my definite outgoing, I am going to highlight that as a green. So these are definite outgoings, and I'm going to also allocate £25 on a family coffee trip. Cafes are usually not that expensive, but some cafes are pricier than others. So I'm going to allocate £25, just in case. Now, transport for the city, I haven't highlighted that because I'm not sure if that's definitely going to be happening. So I'm just going to leave that alone. But what is coming into my account during the week is I'm going to be receiving payments for the work that I've done teaching students this week. So I will be receiving £24 income on Monday. I'll be receiving £48 income on Tuesday, and I'll be receiving £72.05 income on Wednesday. So these are all my incomes for the week. If I take my income for the week, that's 24 plus 48 plus £72.05, which brings us to a total of £144.05. So I'm just going to write this here as total income is £144.05. I'm not going to include any income that I could be getting in terms of, well, the work that I'll be doing next week. I'm not going to write that down just because I don't know who's probably not going to be available to do a lesson. So I'm just not going to count that income. This is definite. This is guaranteed. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight this in blue. And those are all my income for the week. Now, what do I currently have? Well, what I currently have is some cash, but from this, I can already work out essentially what I'm going to be doing with the cash during the week. I do have a few financial goals that I want to hit. One of them being creating an emergency fund, essentially. Another goal I have is it's having more fun money to spend. So I'm going to be working on that throughout 2024, and I'll also be sharing some personal numbers that I would like to hit for each of those sections. So now that I've worked out my income and I know my definite expenses, I'm also going to take a look at the absolute essentials, which is our food for the week. So our food for the week, again, definitely depends on what we've got going on in our fridge and our cupboards, but we do have our dry goods. We've got pasta, we've got rice. So I'm one of those people who focus mainly on adding onto what we've already got. So for instance, if it's rice that we've got, I might make rice with maybe spinach and sweet corn, or rice, spinach and chicken. Just basically adding on to what we've got instead of trying to create a whole new meal. My kids do also love chips. So I do tend to break up the week a little bit. If you've done, rice on Monday, maybe rice on Monday and Tuesday, maybe we would do chips on Wednesday. And we also do like parathas. Those are like Asian flatbreads. My kids tend to love those as well. So we do mix up our foods quite a bit, but we also try and make sure we keep the food spending low. As a family of 4 at the moment, we are spending around £50 a week on food, which I know for some people is a bit much. And most weeks we're not even doing that. Like, we're not doing the whole £50. Most weeks we're just topping up on, most weeks we can make one thing, stretch for maybe like a Monday, a Friday, and possibly a Wednesday, and then just keep changing days in between, because I know how boring it gets for kids to possibly eat the same meal every day. But some people can eat the same meal every day. So again, there is no harm in doing that. It's just all about what you can manage to do, and there is no shame in that game. So with that being said, I am going to allocate a grocery budget of £50. Now, this doesn't all have to get used. If it's left over, we'll roll it over onto the next week. But again, I'm just going to highlight this one in green, as I know that it will be spent. If it doesn't get spent, it can still be spent in another area. And also budgets, my budget is also pretty flexible. So sometimes I might do a budget for the week and say, well, something else is happening, I'll just add on to this throughout the week. But the goal is to make sure you see what's happening, you plan what you are going to spend, and anything that is outside that, don't beat yourself up for it. It is something that you might have not seen coming, something that you might have forgotten to add on. But just make your budget just as flexible as possible for yourself. If I were to buy, for instance, a takeaway on Friday, well, that's unlikely to happen considering we've got a birthday. If I can afford it, I will still make sure I add it here, and possibly subtract from my next week's budget, for example. It's just about being flexible. And again, there is no shame in that game. So my total outgoings for the week, this is where I do the maths on a different sheet. So my total outgoings for the week, I've got the cake, which I've budgeted for £40. I've budgeted £30 on transport, but I'm not going to say 30. I'm just going to say £36 on transport. And I've also allocated £50 on grocery, and £25 for coffee. Again, this coffee is not essential. It is something we like to do. So if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. But I'm putting that in the budget just in case, you know. So my outgoings for the week, I'm expecting that to be 40 plus 36 plus 50 plus 25, which is £151. £151 in total. Bearing in mind that a lot of what I'm budgeting for now includes some of what I've got here. So it's really not the end of the world that I'm getting an income of £144.05. I am also including what I've currently got. So when I do get my income, essentially my income's going to roll over onto the next week. You'll see what I mean in more detail. So I've budgeted outgoings of £151. So that's what we've got happening in the week. Not a lot. I am going to try and do a few no spend days in between. So for example, I know that Monday's the birthday. The no spend day is definitely not going to happen on the Monday, but it can happen on the Tuesday and Wednesday, possibly Thursday and Friday and Saturday. I mean, it doesn't have to be a no spend week, but at the moment, I'm just going to try and plan a no spend day on Tuesday and Wednesday. I will also check in at the end of the week to let you know how my week has gone. This budget is essentially going to run till next week, Friday, which I'm going to say is the 15th, but I'm going to try and stretch it on till about the 18th or 17th. So I'm going to possibly make it till next Sunday, and I'll check in with you and let you know how that goes. So now that I know what is happening during the week, how much I'm expected to spend, I am also just going to take a look at how much I've currently got at the moment. So at the moment, I've got 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 10, £115 cash, which I suppose can go to some of these. That will be, you know, what we'll be doing. I do have the cake funds in my account because that is something I did prepare for. It's something I've known that's going to happen for a while. I mean, it's your child's birthday. So that is in my account. So that's not going to be included in what I'm budgeting right now. Groceries, we tend to shop sometimes in Asda, sometimes in Tesco's. It is just depending on what's happening. So if I were to take away £40 from this budget, I wouldn't need to use a calculator for that. Hopefully I can get the maths right. 151 take away 40 would be about 101. No, not 101, 111. Let's double check that I'm correct. So 151 take away 40, 111. Yeah, so £111 is what I'd be expecting to come out on in cash, which works pretty well if I'm getting £144 and I'm going to be spending £111 of it, if that. That's fine. I also do have 115 here, so it's just choosing where I want to take that from. So let's take a look at this then. Where are we going to do what? With this being said, I do also need to take a look at my coins. These are the coins that I've had throughout the week. Now, I used to do the penny saving challenges, and I'll go over, you know, a penny saving challenge video in a bit more detail. But I'm not going to bother really emptying this today, because I'm just focusing mainly on what's, you know, going out through the week. If anything, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sometimes just borrow from one envelope to another. So anything that I need, anything that I sort of need to move around. Again, budgets are flexible. That's what they're supposed to, that's the fun in budgeting. So I've already written down in my budget sheet in my binder what I'm going to be putting in each envelope. I've also already put £20 in the fun envelope. That's for that cheeky coffee. So that's the £20 in there, and I am going to pop that in. The only ones that I will be stuffing this week are, well, my fun has already been budgeted, transport and housing. And housing, I tend to do food, so that there is not much of, I don't have a specific food envelope, although I will start doing that at some point along the line, see how it goes. So fun, we've already put £20. Now I've put down £60. I've put down £60 as miscellaneous, which is the food, only because I initially budgeted 50, but I realised I don't actually have an extra £10 note that I can take from elsewhere, because the £10 note is going towards the transport. I mean, transport is one of those things that we actually do pay for a lot, so I try to make that a bit more of a priority, especially with kids. One of my goals as well is to drive, so I'm hoping I can save my way through that as well. But we'll see how everything goes. We'll see what we can and can't do. But either way, I'm just going to make it in a way that works for our family and still be happy. You know, £20 for a coffee day, that is something that I'm grateful to be able to still do, just because I know some people are extremely like, everyone's money is different, and I don't want to say this to trigger anyone or to offend someone, but I do know some you know, the situations that we're in now, it's very hard, and I can understand if someone says, well, you know, you must be earning a lot if you can put down £20 for a coffee day. Some people need that £20 to be able to put food on the table, and I completely do understand that. But with budgeting, it is something where I've got to be honest, if you can't make it in a way that is flexible and enjoyable for yourself, it's not worth it. So that is my fun money done, and enough chatting about coffee. I'm going to do the 20, 40, £60 towards our housing, which is basically £50 towards our grocery, and then £10 will go into anything that I might have missed out on here. And I'll show you at the end of the week how much we're left with when it comes to doing the shopping. And the last one we're going to do is the transportation, which is our £36 for the week. Now, that £6 might not really happen, so that I've got 35 and that's £6. I haven't actually included this money because that was essentially still something that, I mean, I did not plan on saving that money. I just planned on putting that to use, so that's why I haven't actually included it here. It was part of something else that doesn't really involve this week. So £36 in our transport binder, and those are the 3 envelopes that have been stuffed, because that's all I can afford to stuff this week, and that is completely fine. We do have miscellaneous, we do have my children's one, we've got health, we've also got my personal one, which is down to pennies at the moment. But this is what's happening this week, and that is what I am going to focus on. But I know that as time goes by, I'm going to have a bit more, hopefully, to just be able to put in other areas. And, you know, this is a great start. So if you are able to even stuff one thing that you know you can prep for during the week, to be honest, give yourself a pat in the back, because it is all about taking that one step, being able to do at least one thing. So that is my budget for the week. I will go ahead and put these away. I do have some coins here, which again I didn't really intend on saving, and for things like that I tend to put them in my coin jar, which I will be showing you another a tutorial on, basically doing the penny saving challenge. But I just wanted to bring you in to seeing what it is that I do on a weekly basis to help save money for myself and my family. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe. I would love to meet people who are into budgeting. I would love to connect with people who can share ideas and just build a community of people who want to live a free life with the finances they've got. No matter how much or how little you've got, you can be financially free. Okay, thank you for joining me today, and have a lovely week.